so far.
ABZ Sports Chaos, and it's mock draft time in the NFL. And guess what? We're going to do our mock draft. And PB, I got to tell you something. The one thing I'm looking for about this draft is seeing Shedeur Sanders sit there like Aaron Rodgers in the green room all the way to the very end. That would be the best thing that could happen. But I don't think it's going to
Hey,
happen, but that would be great.
hey, spoiler alert, early on, I do not have Shedeur Sanders going in the first round.
Ooh,
So you will
okay.
not be hearing me call his name today. So that's a little bit of a spoiler alert. Sounds like you do have him going later in the first round somewhere, but we'll see.
With the conventional pick that everybody says because of an injury. So let's get
Okay.
into it. Who do you
Okay.
get at number one? Let's get this party started.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a consensus pick right now for Tennessee. Will Levis hasn't worked out the way they expected him to. They're looking for that franchise guy. So Cam Ward, number one overall to Tennessee.
Cam Ward as well. I like him a lot, though I'm still disappointed what he did in the bowl games for the Hurricanes, not playing the second half. I thought that was cheap, but he will go number one. All right, number two. This is where it could get a little dicey, right? The conventional pick is supposedly Travis Hunter. I'm going to say
Mhm.
Travis Hunter. Who do you say?
Yeah, and I mean, I could flip flop Travis Hunter and Abdul Kader at this point in time. Um, I'm going to go Abdul Kader. I think the Browns can really become a beast on defense if you put Myles Garrett and Abdul Kader on those two edges on that defensive line. You're talking about a potential team that will not be able to have more than 2.5 seconds to throw the ball at any point in time. So I'm going to say Abdul Kader to the Browns, but I wouldn't be surprised if Travis Hunter goes in
I
that
think the
spot.
owner makes his pick, and it's Travis Hunter. He's looking for that gimmick guy. So,
Yeah.
all right. So then, who do you get going to the Giants at three?
And then I have Travis Hunter going to the Giants at three. I think they would put another skill guy on that team. We don't know if he's going to play defense or offense yet. If he's playing wide receiver, obviously he's going to be opposite Malik Neighbors, who proved that he could be a stud in this league last year with nobody throwing to him. Um, or you're going to have him to shore up your defense and really help against some of those, passing teams in that division. So I'm I think they go Travis Hunter. They pass on. I know Shedeur is kind of the flavor of the month, and they gave him a good look at the workout the other day. But I think that good look was to make them realize, no, we're not taking you at number three overall because you're not worth it. So I got Travis Hunter going there.
Wait, most of my picks are not who I think the team is going to pick, but who I believe they should have picked. And that's why I get Carter going there for the Giants. All right. And that goes to the same thing at number four, the Pats. Who do you got?
Right. So now Cam Ward, Abdul Carter, and Travis Hunter off the board, albeit we had Hunter and Carter reversed. I think the Patriots got to go after the offensive line. Obviously, they showed last year that their offensive line was not good, and they got to shore that up. There's been a lot of talk about Will Campbell, but I think Amen Membu from Missouri is the number one offensive tackle in this draft that they will go after. I think he's more physical. I think he's got better skill set, and I think he's the guy. So I'm going to go with Amen Membu out of Missouri for the Patriots at offensive tackle number four.
The problem with that is they don't need a right tackle. His personal trainer, who's coached him in offensive line school since I believe he was in high school, says that he can't play left tackle. You're doing a disservice to the kid. He's a future Hall of Famer at right tackle. Pat's the left tackle. They're going to go with the best left tackle, and it's Will Campbell.
Okay.
All right,
All
you get
right.
the Jags up next.
Yeah. I think Jags under their new leadership, I think they're all about defense. I think they have some offensive weapons in place. They just got to kind of get that team kind of going, if you will, from a skill player perspective. I think they go after defensive linemen and interior defensive linemen too at that. A guy who can be actually he's all over the field, it seems like Mason Graham out of Michigan.
Mason Graham there as well, going to
Do you really?
Jacksonville. Yep,
All
yep.
right. Wow. Okay.
All right, next one up is the Raiders. This is where there's been a lot of talk that this team could go a million different ways. Who do you like
Yeah.
here?
Yeah. And there's also talk of I mean, Ashton Gianti is the guy, I think, right here. And there's a lot of talk about teams jumping up to get ahead of the Raiders because they know the Raiders want him at running back. I don't know if someone's going to afford to do that. Jacksonville might be the only team that is willing to trade back, I think, at that spot if someone wants to jump up and grab him ahead of time. But if he's still sitting there, the Raiders are going to grab Aston Genty.
The three best players, in my opinion, in this draft are Abdul Carter, the edge guy we talked about already. Ashton Genty is the second best player, in my opinion, the running back. I got him going to the Raiders. And the third is the guy named
Let
Tyler
me guess.
Warren, the tight end.
I was gonna say tight end. You got him going 7? The Jets?
I got Aston Genton now. No, I don't have Warren. I do not know because it's the Jets, and the Jets always make stupid mistakes. So I don't have the Jets. I have the
I don't
Jets
either.
taking Armin Mentu right here.
Okay, and so we have it flipped then. I have them taking Will Campbell.
Okay.
So we both think the Jets are going to go after an offensive lineman, which I think is fair to do. I mean, they have a decent running attack, right, with Breece Hall and Braylon Allen. So if they can get, open up some holes for them to run through, and then also they made an investment in Justin Fields. So I think they're going to be looking to protect him more than they are to try and, give him another weapon or something like that. So they might go Tyler Warren, but I like the offensive tackle pick here. It's just that I flip-flop Will Campbell and Member with the Patriots and Jets.
I'm giving it a popular opinion. I'm going to say that this is where Shedeur goes. However, if I was the Saints, I would trade out of this pick.
Wait. We skipped the Panthers, though.
Oh, I'm sorry, Panthers. Yeah, Panthers next. Yeah, Panthers. Panthers. I got them taking edge rusher Jalen Walker out of Georgia.
That's who I got going there too.
Okay,
at number 8. He's actually a linebacker edge. Right, he's like a Micah Parsons type.
Yeah.
Right? Michael Parsons was officially a linebacker at Penn State, right? So I think he's listed as a linebacker, but yeah, you could call him an edge rusher too. Jalen Walker out of Georgia to Carolina at number 8. So okay, so now we're moving to the Saints at 9.
So Saints, Shedeur here, but personally, I would trade out of this pick. I still like Spencer Rattler. I would trade out of it and try to get Tyler Slough a little later on in the second round or something like that. But the Saints are going to probably take it.
Okay, I mean, that wouldn't be a bad pick for them. Maybe spoiler alert from the beginning, I don't have Shedeur going anywhere in the first round. I think the Saints shore up their defense a little bit here and take the best corner off the unless you're considering Travis Hunter a corner. And this would be Will Johnson out of Michigan.
Where Tyler goes.
Your voice completely was not legible.
I got the Bears taking Tyler Warren right here, tight end.
Oh, okay. Yeah, interesting. I mean, they have Cole Kmet there still. I know he's getting up there in age a little bit, but that would be surprising to me if he goes there at that spot. I haven't taken an offensive lineman just because of the woes that team's gone through. I mean, they've run guys out of town basically because of their inability to, Justin Fields and Caleb Williams. All they do is come in there. They're talented guys that can't even have time to do anything because their offensive line is horrible. So I got them taking Kelvin Banks Jr. out of Texas as an offensive lineman in that spot.
All right, San Fran is up next. I've heard a number of different people pick different people for San Fran, from offensive line to defensive line to wide receiver. What do you think?
Yeah, and I'm going off the board on all those, and I'm going to say they take a running back. I mean, Christian McCaffrey is going to be 29 when this season starts. They traded away Jordan Mason. I think they've kind of had that solid running back mentality as part of their offensive weaponry. And Omarion Hampton out of North Carolina, I think would be a perfect fit in San Francisco. So I have him going 11 to San Francisco.
I'm taking the defensive lineman, Walter Nolan here.
Oh, wow. Okay. I have Nolan going much later in this draft, but okay. That takes us to Dallas at number 12.
Yeah, so Dallas, everybody wants them to take the wide receiver, Matthew Golden, or the kid from Ohio State, Amuka, I forget his name, wide receiver.
Yeah.
And they probably do, but the smart move, and he already had this guy gone, but if he was still on the board, which is, on my case, Calvin Banks, they need an offensive lineman. Zach Martin's just retired. They haven't been able to solve the offensive line issues since Tyron Smith left 2 years ago. And now without Zach Martin, this team is in a lot of problems. They need offensive linemen. Make the
Yeah.
right move if this guy's here. If not, look for another guy. But I got Calvin still here, so I'm taking Banks here.
Yeah, and Banks would be a good pick for me if he's still on the board. I had him going to the Bears, right? Your next best lineman might be a guy like Josh Simmons from Ohio State. Potentially could go there as well. I
Yeah.
have him just going all in on the offense, and I have him, and I've heard a lot of talk too about them going after Ted McMillan. I know you mentioned the other two guys at wide receiver, but Ted McMillan, if Travis Hunt is not coming out as a wide receiver, he could be the number one wide receiver in the draft. So. If the Cowboys can get him at 12, they'll scoop him up.
Probably not. Dolphins.
Yeah, I get the Dolphins taking safety, best safety on the board, and probably the only safety that's going to go in the first round out of South Carolina, Nick Imanwori. Imanwori, is that how you say his last name?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Um, yeah, I got him going to the Dolphins there.
This is where I got Ted McMillan going.
Oh, okay. So you think Waddle and Hill and all those guys are just gonna give way
I
to
think I
another?
think the Hill thing, even though now he says he wants to stay there, I think the Dolphins ownership says enough of just spoiled crap. He's gone,
Okay.
he's traded, and that's why they draft McMillan. If
All
actually
right.
put it this way, if they do draft him, I think Hill's gone.
All right. Okay. That's a fair assessment. All right, so number 14, I have Indianapolis Colts here taking Tyler Warren. I know you had him going way up to the Jets at 7. If he does go at 7
I got to go with the
to,
Bears.
to the Jets, sorry, if he does go at 10 to the Bears, right? I think a lot of people are expecting him to go to 7 to the Jets. I think they still need a tight end, and they might go after Colston Loveland out of Michigan at this spot if Warren's not on the board.
And I
But
got Colston Loveland because I got Warren gone, right? So this is where I got Colston Loveland going to the
you
Colts.
got
Tight
Loveland
end.
going here, which
Yeah,
which would be
yeah,
the pick if Warren goes, which he could. He very well could go by. If Warren's still around 14, I think I'd be surprised.
yeah.
But the way
Warren's
my
not gonna
draft,
he's not gonna get out of the top 10.
I don't think so either. Which Loveland's probably the right pick here, but based on my analysis, I ended up Tyler Warren falling to 14. So that's where I have Warren going, which takes us to Atlanta at 15. I
Okay,
got them.
Mikael Williams, outside
I
linebacker.
That's who I got them taken to. Mikael Williams, edge guy, right? Linebacker out of Georgia. I got them going to Falcons as well. And then the Cardinals will take us to the halfway point of the first round. And I haven't taken Josh Simmons here, offensive lineman out of Ohio State.
So I got him on defense. It's a toss-up between J.D. Barron, the cornerback, and a guy you already drafted, Nick Amori. And I think in this case they're going to go Nick Amori, the safety, the best safety in the draft, sliding here, in my opinion, at the 16.
Okay. All right. We're all kind of right there. Just a little bit of team shuffling, but interesting picks thus far. So now we're in the back half of the draft, which starts off with the Cincinnati Bengals. And I got them taking another edge guy here, James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee.
Edge as well, but it's not James. It's Shamar Stewart,
Oh, okay.
who
All
some
right.
people have going. Some people say this is a slide if he goes to 16. So, but I got some Shamar Stewart. And by the way, if Nolan hadn't been drafted by the 49ers, in my opinion, he might have been the guy here as well. But I think Shamar Stewart is the guy because they're getting sick of Trey Hendrickson's stunts. And I don't
Okay.
mean like stunts on the football field. I mean his stunts about his contract and everything else. So
All right. I like that. I think that's a decent assessment there.
all right,
I don't have him
Seattle,
going. I don't have him going in the first round, by the way.
Stewart. No,
No.
okay. All right, Seattle. Who do you like here for Seattle?
I think Seattle's looking for a wide receiver. I think they want to, make up for the loss of DK Metcalf. I feel like Lockett's kind of in a slide right now. If you can put someone else on that field with like a Jackson Smith and Jigba, they could have a decent offense there. So I'm going to go with Matthew Golden out of Texas for this pick.
I think they need to protect the quarterback, and they go with the guard, Gray Zabel.
All right. I have him going later in the first round. Not this
Okay.
high though. So that takes us to Tampa.
But
I
it's a
have,
guy that slips. I know you have this guy, in my opinion, anyways, on my draft board. A guy you had going very high, our defensive back, Will Johnson. I get him sliding to here, and I get Tampa Bay picking him up.
oh, wow. Okay. I am going after linebacker out of Alabama, Jahide Campbell.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've also heard the kid from BC as well here for Tampa Bay. But Will, if Will Johnson slides like I have him, then this is an ideal pick for Tampa Bay, right?
Yeah, for sure. And that takes us to Denver, and I'm probably going to guess who you have here. You probably have Omari Hampton from North Carolina going here, I'm thinking, because
I
we
do,
know they
I
need a
do,
running back.
I do. But you know what? Matthew Golden could be, because I don't have Golden gone yet, I don't believe, right? So
Oh,
Golden could be the pick as well. But I think it's
yeah.
Omari. You have Omari already gone, but I got him
Yeah.
sliding in here for Denver.
Okay, and if Omari and Hampton is still alive, if San Francisco passes on him, I don't think any of these other teams are going to go running back. So if San Francisco passes on Omari and he's there at 20, that's who Denver's going to take. But because I have him taking going to San Francisco at 11, I have Trevion Henderson going here to Denver, running back out of Ohio State.
Okay, that's not bad. All right, this takes us to the other big question mark of the draft. Nine was a big one with the Saints.
Yeah.
21 Pittsburgh Steelers. I think there's no way in hell Aaron Rodgers ends up there. They should not be putting up that embarrassment. They are the Pittsburgh Steelers. They don't need to have Aaron Rodgers playing yin yang with them.
Yeah.
So, do they draft a quarterback here or not?
Yeah, I mean, I again, I don't have Shedeur going. The only quarterback off the board for me is Cam Ward so far, and I think the number two quarterback, and I don't know if this is a consensus right now, but I'm hearing a lot and seeing a lot from Jackson Dart, and I think it's a good fit for the Steelers. I got the Steelers taking Jackson Dart at 21. You do too?
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's the second best quarterback in my opinion. So I think Shedeur gets to go to the Saints just because the Saints, relent the pressure. But that is a good fit here at number 21. All right, number 22, the Chargers. Who do you like
Yeah,
here?
I have them taking Colston Loveland here because of what the way my draft went out. I had Tyler Warren slipping to the Colts all the way at 14, which means Loveland would still be on the board at 22. And I know you had, Warren going even higher, which does make a lot of sense, which means Indianapolis would have to go after Loveland. If that happens, obviously, he's not gonna be around. I don't know if the Chargers would then drop to the third tight end in the draft because they are desperate for a tight end, or wait, they could probably get another tight end in a later round, and they'll probably go more defensive skill guy here, like a cornerback, like a JD Barron as an example. But I'm hoping Colston's still on the board for them. I think he'd be a nice fit in LA. So I got Colston Loveland out of
For the
Michigan.
Clippers. I mean, Clippers, geez, the Chargers.
Yeah.
I got Amika, Abuka, the
Oh,
Ohio
okay.
State wide receiver.
All right. That's a
I
good
think
pick.
this is the guy that replaces Keenan Allen, who's been gone for 2 years. He's the guy that replaces him, a big jump ball guy. So, he wins
Okay.
contested battles, and they need that.
All right. I like that pick. Next at corner, I have JD Barron out of Texas going to the Packers at 23.
That's what I got too.
All right. That's interesting. We have, we have like a half dozen at least, I think, same
Yeah.
picks, which is interesting. By the way, we might as well just say for the record, the last couple 3 years, we've had more correct picks in our draft than Mel Kiper Jr., than Bucky Brooks, than all these other guys that claim that they know Zerline and everybody else on ESPN. Like, don't pay attention to their stuff because they're always off. And PB and Z usually nail this draft. Documented 2 years ago, PB had 8 picks out of the first round exact, which is 25%. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That same year, Mel Kiper had 1 pick right, and it was the number one pick overall. And after that, he was wrong on every other pick. So, just saying, fans, you know where to come.
Who do you got here for 24? This is the Vikings, right?
Yeah, 24 Vikings. I have Tyler Booker,
That's a tackle
offensive
from Alabama.
interior offensive lineman out of Alabama.
Donovan Jackson, and I have no idea why.
Who do you have him taken?
Donovan Jackson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I literally have no notes. I don't know why.
Where's he out of?
I don't even remember now. I wrote nothing about him. I just put him in. I must have heard this someplace. Someone said this is the ideal fit for him, and I penciled it in. So I got Donovan Jackson going into the Vikings. I don't know why, but
All right. I like my Tyler Booker, interior offensive lineman out of Alabama on that one. All right,
all right,
so
I got a
now we're in the
guy that's
bottom.
I got a guy coming up now for the Texans at 25 that you had much, much higher. Offensive lineman. I have him slip into here. Joshua Simmons.
Okay. All right. I like that pick. I have him going wide receiver. They've had, they got rid of Diggs. Tank Dell has proven that he can play, but he seems like he's a little injury prone. You have other guys like Mechie who hasn't kind of really broken out yet. And so I think they're going to try and give some weapons to CJ Stroud. I got Luther Burden, the third out of Missouri going here.
I just saw the clock. We're gonna run out of time, so we gotta hustle up a little bit. All right, number 26, the Rams. Who do you got?
Here's where I got Amika Egbuka going. Lost a cup. Pick up another wide receiver to complement Puka.
I thought about wide receiver as well, but I got the safety, Malaki Stocks.
All right. Don't have him going in the first round. Interior offensive lineman who you had earlier, Gray Zabel, 27 to Baltimore, was I got.
This is where I get Matt Golden. Golden slips to here, the Texas wide receiver.
Oh, wow. I'm going to put him with Zay Flowers and give
Yeah,
Lamar some
yeah,
weapons. I like
yep,
that. I think
yep.
they need interior offensive linemen more important to that team, especially blocking one more year for Derrick Henry and, giving Lamar the time he needs. Uh, Edge rusher Mike Green out of Marshall to Detroit at 28.
I actually had that and I crossed it out. I got them going with the other side of the ball, and this is where I got Tyler Booker from Bama going.
Oh, okay. Offensive lineman. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Washington Commanders, edge rusher, Donovan Ezero Aku out
Ruko.
of
Yeah,
Boston
yeah,
College.
BC. That's where I got him going as well.
Oh, you do? All
Yep,
right.
yep,
Another
yep.
another exact pick.
Yeah.
Then I have what?
The Bills at 30.
Um Bills at 30, Maxwell Hairston, cornerback out of Kentucky.
I got a cornerback, but not him. I got Trey Amos.
Okay.
All
And
right,
then
KC. KC was a tough one. Who do you get for KC?
yeah, and if he falls, you had this guy going at number, I don't know, in the top 10, I think. Walter Nolan, defensive lineman. If he's still
Yeah,
around at
I
32,
got him going to San Fran at 11.
at 11, okay. If San Fran doesn't, if passes on him, which they could very well take, but if they pass on him, I
Falls to
think
here. Okay.
he could fall to here. Yeah, Walter
Uh,
Nolan to Kansas City.
I'm on the other side of the ball again, and this time it's Josh Connolly,
Oh, offensive lineman. Yep.
tackle. Yep. All
Okay.
right. The last pick here, Philadelphia. I actually saw that Donovan Zaruki, however you say it, from BC could slide here, but we already have him off the board. But the next guy, you already have him picked. I got the linebacker, Giad Cambria. Is that how you say his last name?
I think it's just Campbell.
Oh, is it Campbell? Okay.
Yeah, Chad Campbell. Yeah. I had him going to Tampa at 19. You got him going here at 32? All
Yep.
right. I have Derek Hammond, another interior defensive lineman out of Oregon, going at 32.
You know what? I had Harmon someplace else, and then I scratched him, and now I had him as consideration if at Seattle.
Oh,
But I gave
okay.
him the offensive lineman. But I that was my other one. Derek Harmon was going to go there, but then he slides out of the first round for me.
Okay. Well,
All
there you
right.
have it. There's your top round. Hey, top of the second round. Just one pick. What do you think the Patriots go after? They're going to have the fourth pick in the second round.
It says they have to get a receiver. I'm not so sure they have to get a receiver. I haven't thought about it enough.
Okay.
Um, Derek Harmon would be not a bad pick right here.
Yeah, if he's still around. If he's still around. Yeah, I think there's some guys that you could maybe look at wide receiver here. I'm not sure if every guy we talked about is going to come off the board. If any of the guys that we just mentioned are still there, I think the Patriots have to consider that.
Yeah.
Okay. There you have it.
They don't need a tight end, but there's a guy out there, another tight end that was getting some love. The kid from LSU, Mason Taylor.
All right. Yeah, that might be a little early. That might be a
Yeah.
little early.
Believe it or not, the Globe has him going in 2029 to the Commanders.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, they're not going to give Ben Sinnott a chance to prove himself there, tight end.
You know what, PB, and that's why I got Tyler Warren going with Cole Kmet. I think the double tight end is going to really start to, think about what the Pats did when they had both Hernandez when he was, not a derelict, but and then with Rob, right?
Yeah.
That kind of changed the game. The double tight end, when you have those kind of unique tight ends playing, it's a mismatch in my opinion.
All right.
So,
Okay.
all right, man, good show.
All right.
Talk to you soon.
All right.